It's been 3 years of researching where we should move to as we transition into semi-retirement. The prerequisites were we wanted to move north of Perth, we wanted to move to a warmer climate, and we wanted to move to a coastal town. We wanted to move to a place that had some infrastructure which included a supermarket and hospitals and casual employment opportunities. So when we actually share with our friends and family that we've chosen Carnarvon as the place to semi-retire/retire, they look at us with amazement. They shake their head and they go, "Why Carnarvon?" Yeah, well, the climate's pretty good with an average temperature of 28 degrees throughout the year. Good fishing from either a boat or land-based. Plenty of good camping opportunities north or south or even east to the Kennedy Ranges. The proximity to the Ningaloo Reef just 2.5 hours north to Coral Bay and 2.5 hours south to Shark Bay or Denham makes it a location that is well positioned. Not forgetting easy access to Onslow or Karratha if you want to head further north.
Afraid so much has changed that I'll do it all wrong. Part of my heart's grown cold within. Gotta find a way to feel the heat again.
Yeah, wow. The journey to land on Carnarvon. Well, I guess it all started 5 or 6 years ago when we took it upon ourselves to tow a boat to Exmouth for the first time. We typically would stay in Kalbarri for a day or two, and then we would stay in Carnarvon as we head further north to either Exmouth, or we've been to Dampier a few times, or Karratha. So what this did was gave us an insight to what the northwest looked like, or the Gascoyne more so. So we thought that we were going to end up in Kalbarri. We were absolutely convinced that we were going to end up buying a place and semi-retiring in Kalbarri. However, the casual or part-time employment opportunities weren't that prolific. In fact, they were pretty rare for people our age. So Kalbarri, after a couple of visits and we looked at a number of houses, quickly slipped down the list of places that we would move to. We thought we fell in love with Port Denison and Dongra on the way up and all the way back. In our 5 years, we stayed there a few times. We were absolutely convinced that Port Denison was going to be the place, and or Dongra, due to the fact that it was only 5 hours or 4 or 5 hours from Perth, affordable, a wonderful marina. However, again, the employment opportunities didn't really do it for us, and there was just something missing at Port Denison and or Dongra. So how did we end up in Carnarvon? Well, it really is a long story. We actually stayed a couple of nights a couple of years ago where we were exposed to a bit more than just the caravan parks. And we thought to ourselves, well, why haven't we ever considered Carnarvon? Well, the more research that we did, we learnt that Carnarvon's got a wonderful food bowl. Carnarvon's got a good population of about 5,000 people. It's got good infrastructure. It's got a supermarket. We've got a couple of supermarkets. There was affordable real estate on the market, and there was an abundance of, and there is still an abundance of part-time or casual work. So after going back up to Carnarvon to look at property and getting to know some of the local people, talking to the CEO a few times, talking to the local police, we actually got a really good feel, to the point where as we put an offer in a property out in the plantations, 3,000 square metres, back in March this year, March 2024. So we couldn't be more excited and enthused about moving to Carnarvon. It's been a journey, and hope we've made the right decision. I guess all will be revealed in the fullness of time. So was Carnarvon our first choice of town to semi-retire in? Well, no, it wasn't. Our journey started when we were thinking about buying a place in Kalbarri, and that was just the other side of the cyclone that hit and actually devastated the town of Kalbarri. So we were pretty well convinced that Kalbarri was going to be our town until we really spent some time in Port Denison, which is south of Kalbarri or south of Geraldton, and we looked at a number of houses in Port Denison and Dongra. However, the employment opportunities weren't that strong. So, for one reason or another, which I'll explain later, is we picked Carnarvon as our third choice, but as it turns out now, it's actually our best choice. Yeah, so why are we doing all this? Well, we're transitioning into semi-retirement. We hope to semi-retire into Carnarvon early to mid 2025 and then pick up some part-time / casual work until I fully retire in about 6 years when I turn 65. So it's all about transitioning to semi-retirement and still being nimble enough or physically able enough to enjoy what that part of the coastline provides, like fishing and camping and overlanding. It's an amazing part of our state, so we want to make the most of it while we still can. So are there any antisocial behaviour issues in Carnarvon? Absolutely. But I wouldn't say any worse or more or better than other regional towns, not just in Western Australia, I think in Australia. You know, it's been documented both in the press and on social media that poor old Carnarvon's had a bit of a rough trot due to one reason or another. And you know, it's with full disclosure, we're not going into Carnarvon with our eyes closed. We're fully aware that at times there's going to be antisocial behaviour, you know, and at times criminals are going to see opportunities that are opportunistic. So we've got to be vigilant, like we suggest that you be vigilant wherever you live, whether it's in Inglewood or Carnarvon or Kununurra or Broome. So yeah, we're aware of it. Yes, there is. Is it as bad as people say? Probably not. However, I will report on that, or I'll let people know in 3 and 6 month increments. Yeah, so what is there to do in Carnarvon, or what is there to do in and or around Carnarvon? I guess the good thing about Carnarvon's location is that it's, you know, we're 4 hours north of Geraldton, whereas we're 2.5 hours north of Shark Bay or Denham. We're 3.5 hours south of Exmouth. And there's a fair bit of stuff to do in between. If you like your fishing, which we do, you know, there's plenty of land-based fishing to do. There's inside the Gulf fishing. There's fishing between Carnarvon and the islands. There's plenty of camping spots available either north or south. And you've also got the Kennedy Ranges. So I guess what is there to do? Well, I guess if you're not into camping or fishing or outdoors, it'd be a bit of a restriction. However, if you need a city fix, fly to Perth. It's, you know, if you live in Carnarvon, it's the government subsidises your flights to the tune of I think it only costs $200 each way for you to actually fly from Perth to Carnarvon if you live in Carnarvon. And Exmouth only being 3 odd hours away or 3.5 hours away, you know, to break things up. But I'm going around in a circle. So what is there to do in Carnarvon? Well, there's a golf club, there's a race course, there's a speedway, there's plenty to do. And I think with us taking on our new project as far as renovating the property that we've bought, we'll have enough to do in Carnarvon to keep us busy. Yeah, so what drives Carnarvon's economy? Well, I think it's got a number of streams of income. One of them is clearly tourism. It's got a pretty strong fishing industry. Very heavily weighted towards agriculture. Not forgetting the resource sector. There's 2 or 3 mines that aren't too far away from Carnarvon town. So what drives the economy? It's pretty much got a finger in a lot of pies. Yeah, so not one singular economy stream. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell. We're for now.